of the Delve, the game where we are currently in the blackness of the void. Hey, we escaped. How lovely. The game where we're currently in an office building so that we can register our daughter into the databases. But it's not technically our daughter, you know? I don't know. Maybe it'll explain that. Right? Hi, Daddy. Welcome in. Welcome in. This last stream. Don't worry about it. You're fine. Ferno wants to be first. You are here. You are here and you are first. Congratulations. You've done it. Alright. So, I feel like it's like a normal thing that I need to do for this game. Just pull up paint. And that way I can make my timeline, you know? It's gonna be longer every time, because every time we need it to be longer. Because there's a lot that happened last time. In the time beforehand. A lot of things that I don't know how it goes to. What I miss? Bear ears. That's the main thing, I think. But we investigated some murder. We talked to other people. We investigated more murder. You know, the 9 yards. Is there anything else I need to, like, note here besides we're going to do circles and we're going to make arrows, which is something we are totally going to do, but I don't know that yet. Maybe I need to give this one a steel chair, too. There you go. You can have a steel chair. It's important for later. Don't worry about it. Any theories on who done it? Not yet. You know, but then again, I'm a defense lawyer. Defense attorney. I'm defending my dead client, alright? Not my job to figure out who done it. So long as it wasn't me. So, you know, who knows? I'd like to talk to that musician, too. We've had too many mentions of Kaguya. You know, the cosmic and princess kind, in order for it not to be somewhat relevant. You know? So, yeah. Anyway. I've been here before. Sat right here in this lobby waiting for David to come and treat me to lunch. At least, I think it was this lobby. Could have been some other floor. Could have been an entirely different building. All these corporate towers of Babel feel like interchangeable fractals to me, folding in on themselves in patterns of narcissistic paranoia. So monumental in the scale of their hubris that they needed to use non-Euclidean geometry when drawing up the blueprints. Greatest minds of each generation coming together just to find the most expensive way to Okay, good note, but sure.
Hi, Night. Is something bothering you?
Just doing the math on how long we'll be kept waiting here. Don't worry, it's fine. What are your opinions of Sarah? Great question. I think Sarah's a cutie patootie who needs bear ears. Perfection. She's a lot cuter when she has the little bear ears on. Here you go.
Ananai, would you like to wear bear ears too?
Absolutely not.
But then you'll be able to hear me better.
Who said I wanted to hear you in the first place? Apparently someone will be here shortly. So maybe if I pass the time by glaring around the place, it'll improve my mood. Oh wait, sorry, transit's no barriers. They happen. We can look at that. They changed the logo again.
Noble Electronics.
How's it feel stepping in here? Is this some kind of religious experience for you?
It's just the corporation where my father worked.
Careful now, or they'll burn you for heresy against the company. Got the capitalization on that. Okay, sure.
You said it again. The company, as if it's a proper noun.
Yeah, the capitalization tells me it's a proper noun, Okay, the bear is super important for last stream because I feel like I'm missing the inside joke. So there was a whole plot line about the bear ears. But I think you just heard the gist of it. I think Sarah's just about the only one who likes the barriers. Everyone else is not a big fan.
You're mimicking the employees, aren't you?
So it can't obey simple orders, but it can pick up on that.
Is it just a part of the corporate culture?
Noble's one of the biggest corporations there is. One of the biggest there's ever been. We mere humans can't hope to escape the gravity of anything that size, no matter where you live or how far off the grid you think you are. So imagine what it's like working for them. You live in the company dorms, work in company quarters. Wherever you go, that logo's above your head. Just like those barriers. Why do you keep putting them on?
They're cute, you know.
Oh, fine. You eat, slink, and breathe on Noble's timetable. Apparently wear your silly barriers there too. Entirely at its discretion.
Oh, maybe I don't need these anymore.
Look, I don't care what you like. If you like barriers, whatever. When you spend your whole life inside of it, Noble must feel big enough to be the only company there is.
So barriers are on the table.
No, they're on your head. Lovely. Yeah, we can look at the plant. Like, I don't know how much of this stuff is important, because it feels like there's a lot of this stuff that's, like, important, you know? You can't just say that sort of thing and not make me want to write a circle down, you know? And this one, it has nothing important to it. It's like, do I write a question mark there? Nah. I write a circle down. That's what I do.
To think this is only one room. And this complex is so massive that it doesn't even feel man-made. It's like it was carved out of the rock by waves, like it's always been here.
And that's the con. If this place was actually natural, there'd be birds everywhere.
I hadn't considered that. Why aren't there birds in here?
Probably because of what they do to the ones that get in.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Do they do that to bears too?
There's not even a need for you to ask. I don't even have a better explanation. It's like, I want there to be a little more going on here too, you know? That's what just red herrings. There's our foreshadowing. Since it's good writing, you won't know. I'll know it when I see it, you know? Everything here, because it's good writing, has some sort of purpose, right? If it doesn't have a purpose, it gets cut. That's how it goes. Especially in this industry. So everything has a purpose. Usually, for a purpose to be a red herring, they're going to make it more obvious. Right? So, we'll see what we get from it.
So much energy. So many people, also intent.
You kidding? It's Saturday, the place is half empty.
But doesn't everyone work on Saturdays?
Yeah. All the parents do, so they don't need to find childcare on Sunday. Everyone else flips a coin, I guess.
All these people, for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. What could they all possibly be doing?
Making work for themselves?
You can be very cynical, can't you?
Yeah, I'm terrible. But that guy over there is just jiggling his cursor for the last 20 seconds. I can do that too. It can go up and down and around in a circle. And it can, oh no! It can write a circle. It's not important. See, I just did absolutely nothing worthwhile for the last 20 seconds. Sweet! I'm perfect for a job here. Whoever comes to greet us better have a pulse and some full authority. My mood's starting to sour, and if they just send me the first link in their infinite chain of corporate bureaucracy, I'll make them wish. You can't do this to me. I don't know if that's a boy or a girl. But we haven't had enough boys, so I'm going to be hopeful. Morgan. It is a boy! Woo! Yeah! So good! You're a weird man, you know. What in the world is going on with everything about you? Boy, I am glad. I assume that's either a mod or you got some very interesting hands there, buddy. Along with your not very well done tie and the bags under your eyes. Man. You're either a painter, a fighter, or a murderer. Which one is it?
That's me.
Hey there. Android Manufacturing Quality Control, Eastern Division. Evan Dawes.
Evan Dawes, he says, like it's an afterthought. What's a name compared to your place in the hierarchy?
You seem familiar. Have you?
I'm David's lawyer. Huh?
Oh, then we must have...
Apologies. Let me first just say how sorry I am about his passing. You and everyone else at the company must be going through a lot right now. As if it's a proper noun.
Uh-huh. I see. The circle was important. Because why would we reiterate it? You see, that was the optional stuff, right? Optional stuff that just gives you optional little goodies. So to get it reiterated here in the main story part, that's not optional. Curious, ain't it? Means it's got some sort of importance, I assume. You know, as I normally say, once is a coinky-dink, two is not a coinky-dink.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
You're welcome. It's no big deal. Everyone's on the razor today, but what else is new? And compared to PR and legal right now, our workloads in QA are... Never mind. How can I assist you?
Shortly before his passing, Dr. Asher began the process of registering this android. Yes, that is correct. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to finish the job.
Look at that.
Huh?
It's definitely custom.
Gee, you think?
It's cute, though.
Good thing I sought out an expert. Warm, it goes without saying. Reminds me of the A16 Premiere, if anything. Barcode is clearly printed, no visible defects. But you're right, it doesn't correspond to anything we got on file. Huh. Well, they sent you the right man for the job. Now we just need to go to the right place. Not far, I hope. It's in the building. Woo!
Yeah, I'm so glad I don't have to walk more. My legs are killing me.
In the building. That can mean anything from down the hall to a half-day's hike.
Production line on B9 should have everything we need.
You do manufacturing inside your corporate headquarters?
B9's a fully functional production floor, but it was only built for demonstrative purposes. New clients make deals upstairs about how many and what shape or size, then they come down to the basement to see how the sausage is made.
We have enough money to build a fake factory just for guests. Smart. So long as you're only giving tours and not giving away company secrets.
No need to worry about that. We take intellectual security very serious around here.
No kidding. There are 11 cameras on us at the moment that I can see.
Where? You know the trained killer would know, but I don't see a single thing over there.
And who knows how many pairs of modded eyes are aimed our way? Clearly nothing's happens here without the almighty company knowing about it.
Curious. You said that like it's a proper noun. Oh hey, company can get the barriers too. Good on you, Noble. Just put it on the It's just bear ears or different types of ears, because dog ears look great for Sarah. I only have bear ears right now, so maybe we see some other ones later, but right now we got bear ears.
So they try to claim ignorance about anything.
Oh no. I'm sorry about that. That's just what we call a dark red circle. Woo! Those always relate to murder in some form. That's scary, but it's a thing. Anyway, which corporate head are you gonna kill, Morgan? Come on.
Lead the way.
Let's go to B9 or B8.
Which one was it again?
308. Noble Electronics Northeastern HQ. Basement floor 9. Oh, good that it is 9. It's not B8, because otherwise it'd be base.
It really is fully furnished down here. I don't want to take up much of your time, but it's pretty rare to get to see all this in person, you know.
Hi, Astra. Welcome in. We came up the barriers. We got him. Don't you worry.
Would you mind terribly Felix around for a moment?
No problem. I got some prelim paperwork I need to handle anyway, so how about it?
Better take full advantage. I need more than cursory knowledge if I want to figure out where Sarah came from and why David wanted me to take custody. Then I'll look around. You stay put in the meantime.
Adonai?
Wouldn't want to lose you among the rest of the merchandise.
Yeah, it's not funny, Adonai.
Is that a box? My goodness, I love those.
What have you got in this datapad? Some kind of write-up?
Oh boy, let's go on the subject of Sullivan's Peak. What in the world's a Sullivan's Peak? It was influenced by the Uncanny Valley. Is it the opposite of the Uncanny Valley? Yeah, David Asher was shot in the elevator. Boy. Karma's gonna come back to bite you if that's the case. Let's see. Something cartoon, universally appalling, yada yada. The space is nearly indistinguishable. Sullivan's Peak or whatever. Woo! In which face? You know, who cares? It's fine.
I'm surprised to find reading material like that around here. Were they passing it around as a gag, or are they actually afraid of Sullivan's Peak? Noble must be.
So I might have wanted to like read a little more on that article. But if they're still talking about the Uncanny Valley, right? We'll just. Wow, it seems like someone needs to listen a little more, and that's me. I'm gonna give my bare ears, just so they can hear a little better. I can hear in 8 different directions. I hear in. I forgot what I was gonna say. But I can hear what I was gonna say. Hear colors and smell sounds.
The Peak does exist. They'll be coming up on it fast now that Android's home. Noble's entire product line. Maybe their entire industry could go bottoms up if people start to think it's cool.
Wait, did I actually get it right? I'm so cool. I don't need any bare ears. I can hear in one direction, like the band. I don't even remember what they made.
If Sarah has any indication of where their androids are headed, I could see some people getting uncomfortable.
I see. Why is there an egg over here? You know what? Who cares about eggs? Let's take a look at this.
Feels like I've seen this before.
Oh yeah, it's a 3D printer.
Ah, that's right. There's one in David's lab.
The poker chips pause for dramatic effect. Don't worry, I'm just getting all my money so I can go all in, baby. All in. That's where Sarah hatched. She was born from a little egg, just like a normal bear.
That's the nanograde elementary manufacturer. Nanofacturer for short. A real high quality piece of machinery. Each of them built in-house by Randock Mechanics.
What does it do?
Nano-level flash fab. Basically a 3D printer for nano machines.
You build nano machines in your factory for use in your androids?
Raw materials are cheap, literally elementary, so no sense in getting them shipped in. It's mostly the medical models that make use of them. Inject a couple thousand nanites into a patient's bloodstream, run diagnostics, and provide a solution.
3D printer for nanomachines. So what kind of ink does it use?
Silicon, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, building blocks.
Just had a little thought here. It's interesting how we mention all of this. You know, once is a coinky dink, two is not. Because we had mention of those sorts of type thingies before, right? So I'm a little curious about that. Whether it's anything or not, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much on it, but you know, maybe they go with the formula. What's more Seto it's be? Once is a coinky dink. Second time it's twins. Yeah, maybe they follow like once is a coinky dink, twice is it might be a coinky dink, third time is not a coinky dink. Because I see some of them do that. I've never seen anything go past thrice, though.
They feed into the nanoprinter and it assembles in the machines particle by particle.
Like a ribosome building structurally complex proteins out of chemically simple amino acids.
You can't be doing this! Okay. Sorry. We're getting rid of this. Nah, you can't double down on this one, alright? You can't double down on it.
Must be time consuming.
You would think, but Randall cracked the code on parallel micromanufacturing. The inside's crystalline, sprawling like an ant's nest.
Red Herring's the best players from this game. Absolutely lovely. Adoring, in fact.
Raw materials enter at one of the thousands of different entry points, combining and recombining at the intersections. The finished product ends up at the center and drips out in a liquid solution. Distilled nectar swimming in millions of nanites in just 2 minutes.
Nectar, that's sticky?
It can be, depending on the desired output, but the door vacuum seals when it's cooking, so don't worry. It's completely spill-proof.
What a relief. Not exactly a box of paper clips David could just brought home from the office one day. Must have bought his own for some reason.
Can't do that. Well, hey, we can look outside. My favorite. You gotta love the looking outside. Just seeing what else there is.
What's being built out there?
Alright, top of the line, brand new bestsellers.
Sorry, I'm just a little interested in knowing, is this a double space right here? Just a little curious, because it's bigger than the other times they do a space. There's more space there, so it could definitely be a double space.
Alright, top of the line, brand new bestsellers. The Animate 16 Warm.
Looks kinda cold out there.
We keep the factory floor refrigerated.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am the best proofreader I know. Double space we never would you in the joke. Take that, take that, YouTube. Good work. Yeah, I'm the best proofreader I know. I will see those, and I will know those.
About 90% of the time, quite honestly. Slows the organic already tuned metabolic activity to a minimum.
That explains why the room doesn't smell like rotting flesh. The flesh out there is only somewhat rotting. Slowly. I just meant I'm surprised to see metal.
Oh, well, all the A16s have alloy endoskeletons. Organics are layered on later in the process.
You're cute, you know that? Hi, Philip. Welcome in, welcome in. Certainly, what has happened? That. See, you can see exactly what's going on just from the colors, right? Uh-huh. Jump scare. Uh-huh. This relates to protein manufacturing, by the way, this one. Yeah. And of course, we can't forget everyone's favorite bear ears. Yay! What am I looking at? A cutie? And a timeline of plot points,
Sounds like what Sarah already told me about herself. Maybe she really was the A16's prototype. It's hard to imagine bridging the gap between her and some of those scattered doll parts.
Get away. Adorable, but who is she? You know Sarah, right?
I get that you can grow just about anything from lax Gemini. But how do you get the synthetic and organic to work together?
Yeah, that was our third concern when R&D began work on the worm concept. The 1.0s were real skin with synthetic muscle, and it was a worst. Metal pulling on skin was just...
Alright.
For 2.0, they worked backwards. Organic muscle, organic skin. But digital signals on organic hardware was a dead end.
Didn't the muscles flex when you passed an electric signal through them?
They'd flex and unflex, sure. But that's not nearly precise enough for facial expressions.
Okay. Well, here last year, so missing some things a little bit. Just know that she's a cutie patootie who loves bear ears. And also, we don't know anything about her.
Look like puppets strung up on live wires. We used the test footage to haze interns, actually.
You must have figured something out. The A16 wouldn't look out of place on the runway.
Thank you, we try. We ended up reaching out to mod companies. Well, we actually just bought out a dozen of them, but,
Right.
they figured out how to get human nervous systems moving mechanical limbs decades ago. So we just needed to get a mechanical nervous system to move living limbs.
Very clumsy attempt to avoid using the word human.
High precision mods are slotted straight into the nervous system. They receive their input from neurotransmitters, not bioelectricity.
So you had to do the opposite?
Exactly, we created a synthetic neurotransmitter that our androids could use to communicate with organic flesh.
Are you getting any of this? I feel like I'm reading a textbook again. You guys want to read a textbook?
Where did that breakthrough come from, Dr. Asher?
And partly, he led the team that built the motor neurons in this analog. Wait, was that analog or analogy? Analogy! Sorry, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep 36 hours ago. That carry commands from the central nervous OS to individual muscles across the chassis. But the the synthetic analog serotonin, that was actually an old brainchild from the VP of Android Futures, Helen Jung.
Curious. Maybe that's interesting. I'll make a note of that. Sorry, my circles are too big, I'm realizing. I'll make them smaller.
Yeah.
Japanese technically, I'm trying to understand why they keep showing the murder house. No!
Jung, hasn't David mentioned a Dr. Jung before? That sounds impressive.
Oh, she's one biochemist, alright. Or she was, I guess. Not much time for individual lab work when you get her kind of A grade.
So Jung collaborated with David on the technology that enabled warm androids. As I thought. Whatever went to Sarah that makes the android so distinct he couldn't have taken sole credit for. Jung, did he have a partner with her? Did he have a partner like her on this?
Curious. I want the egg! Give me the egg! Fine, if you don't want the egg, then the egg. Anyway, let's check this. What is this?
It seems to share some components of that coffin Sarah was napping in. DAW's just quality assurance. Is it some kind of android calibration device?
I'm horrible at reading today.
It's probably what I used to register Sarah. Looks a little Is Sarah tall enough for it to recognize her?
Hey, are you thinking something about my height?
No, not at all, you little 2-foot tall cutie.
You're thinking about my height, huh?
There's something out there that caught my eye when he came in. A very familiar shade of crimson. Just went through the glass. On the floor, there are temperature-controlled fluid tanks. Through glass and plastic flows an eye-catching scarlet that transitions into... So you add the blood toward the end?
You mean the accident? Yeah, relatively late in the process.
Huh.
Something out of place.
It's not sure it's like that she's 3 apples tall. So cute. Whenever it shows Morgan and Sarah together, Sarah just brings out a step stool and then she just sits on it. She has to have a step stool to maybe be a head down. Did I mention anything important? Nah, probably not.
Androids have blood. Even it's not officially labeled as such, but it isn't red. It's pink.
Danganronpa fans rejoice.
Sometimes milky, sometimes neon, occasionally garish, but pink. I just didn't think the accident would be red.
Oh, right. Sorry, I barely noticed it at this point. The color's natural, comes from the biomanufacturing process. The chromafuge out there removes the byproducts, the waste, the excess pigment.
Changing it from blood red to psychopop pink.
Without that chromafuge, our android's flesh would come out all the wrong colors.
That may be true. Probably isn't, but it may be. But I have a simpler explanation. Blood is primal. Sight of it carries weight. And they change the color of their product's blood so that when an android gets a bottle broken against its face, no one bats an eye.
The whole time you're falling about your... Man, warm androids are cool these days, aren't they?
Ah.
As a matter of fact, all of them were AI.
What?
They're all AI? No way. Let's look at whatever that is. Oh, another inhaler.
Inhaler left out on the desk. Probably a half dozen empty ones in one of the drawers. Does the inhalers, they're distributed by the company, correct?
Oh, yeah, HR handles it. They personalize your doses and prescription and update it based on performance and job fulfillment reviews.
Other corporations do it the same way.
What's that mean for Kibo? It just means they made him look that way, you know. Means he's a lesser model. Does that make all of them robots in the first one, the third one? My goodness, you're finally figuring out the secret, huh? You're secretly the only human. You know, we never saw his blood, did we? You see, remember, if you go into the extended universe, where you see rain code, they do, humans do have red blood. What can I say?
Yeah, pretty much. Everyone's trying to keep pace with each other, so can't have your employees losing focus on the job. Could cost you who knows how much in lost efficiency.
What's that mean? It was a game in a game. Who knows? The world may never know. And by the way, we get I'm gonna be horrible at drawing a bear, aren't I?
Yeah.
You know, that's close enough. That's a bear on our plot. Cause it's a game. My goodness. We're all crazy, aren't we?
Sorry if this is insensitive, but given what happened to David, are overdoses common in the company?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says.
Overdoses, that is, not hospitalizations or deaths. It's all pretty organized these days.
These days?
Second, would it be a game within a game within a game, huh? Exactly, yeah.
Man, back when I first started in consulting, Pretty much everyone had an embarrassing story from the first 2 years where they popped a few too many greens and missed the on-ramp.
Popped greens.
Yeah, I used the beep pills. Green to get you going, yellow to keep you there. Swallow a red after brushing your teeth and get into your bunk fast. But yeah, the inhalers are a huge improvement. And going from torches to the light bulb. They sink straight to your personal biomes and adjust dosage in real time. Overdoses are way down.
That's great to hear.
And the trainees under me don't realize how good they got it. Kids probably don't even have to learn how to purge.
Excuse me, what? Empty you on the stomach. Well, I do have experience putting my hand in people's mouths, so... I know how that goes. Isn't that right, Sarah?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well done. You ready to get the ad handled?
Thanks for humoring me.
Can you have it step on the scanner?
As he says.
Understood.
Right then. What are we looking at here? Oh, whoa. There's a lot to unpack here.
He theorized that it may have been Asher's pincushion.
A pincushion, huh? That would explain some of what I'm reading here.
What language is that on the screen?
Tess. You know, Tesseract. All Noble's products and, well, pretty much all products, period, are programmed in Tess.
Yeah, excuse me. Program language, so that's not helpful. Okay, they do a thing, alright.
Easy to read and write, stay compliant. Now this model, what's it going by?
Sarah.
This Sarah model. It's got everything the 16th line has, that's for sure. Organic skin, hybrid muscles, advanced facial processing, and emoting. But there's a lot crammed in here that's still in development, like in the idea phases.
What in the world did they do with this girl?
Huh.
Solar cell hair strands, decentralized redundant power, mental and physical overclocking with extended tolerances. Data storage is so large I can't, oh no, wow, we had to measure it using...
I'm so cool. Cool enough for bear ears.
It seems there's nothing written about barriers on this. What are you talking? Oh, you have them on your head. Weird. That's a fashion statement, I guess. You know, we haven't even had the fashion statements enter the idea phase. That's just a gag these days.
So what else is important?
Poker face?
I think it's even overclocked to like 6 or 7 gigahertz.
Kids these days, I tell you. And they're 67s. My goodness. The poor thing most likely, she was asleep the whole time, it's fine.
Wait, decryption and signal hijacking, that's...
Hacking?
Essentially.
Does that mean it could hack its own tenants?
And by that, for all those who don't know, is itself apparently. I don't know. It's probably fine. Anyway, it's a weird note. So you know what we do with weird notes? We note them down. Woo! There is a chance that all relates back to something, but I don't remember enough. So just keep that in mind that there may be an arrow I'm forgetting. That go along with the 28 other arrows I'm forgetting. Couldn't read it. Yep, me neither.
Oh no, that's unthinkable. Well, literally for an ad. For an ad to break its tenants would be like you stepping into traffic or dropping a baby.
You know, I've done like both those things in my lifetime. Not that I'd say that out loud.
You know you're physically capable of it, it's not something you would ever choose to do.
Some people do walk into traffic. Psychotics, addicts, the mentally ill. Does that mean that they're androids?
Well, no, there aren't crazy androids, so yeah. I guess my analogy doesn't hold up.
That's okay. So it can't hack itself, but it was given the ability to hack other systems.
The industry line is such a capability. Is that such a capability could be an option in certain emergency scenarios. Breaking through the firewalls and encryption of surrounding electronics to broadcast directly to police or military channels. Speaking of military, the musculoskeleton setup is...
It's very easy to do. But would you do it, you know? It's easy to do, but, you know, you're smart enough not to do it.
It's drastic. I've never seen this on a consumer model.
Could you lift a car or something, Sarah?
Most cards. It would depend on the center of gravity.
Lady, this Sarah could wrestle a public disturbance walker and come out on top.
Those stopping behemoths they bring out for riot suppression?
And in terms of computational ability, the estimate says...
Done on purpose. Of course. Not on purpose, but you could.
Wait, that can't be right.
Look, dolls, I'm all ears and all, but I was actually hoping you could tell me something about the software, the metadata. Who worked on it and when?
Ah, right, okay. Well, that's unfortunate. The editing logs have been purged.
That doesn't sound very above the board.
Won't barriers.
Well, you know, I'm glad you're listening, dolls, but maybe you could also use some bare ears while you get the chance.
These? Isn't that what the android was just wearing?
You work for the androids. Wouldn't you like a fashion statement designed by one?
Sure, I guess.
Helps with listening, she says.
They really do. I can hear a lot better when I have them on.
Wow, that's one complex android. Guess I'll keep them on for a bit. Maybe try them out. Maybe they'll help. Sorry, I can't tell you anything about who worked on Sarah or when.
Any chance you can restore those logs?
Not here. Not with this machine. I need the computers that were actually used to program this model. Any ideas where those would be?
Sarah?
I cannot answer that question with any accuracy.
Had a feeling you might say that. That's right.
Sorry, I can tell you that the code is unique. There's hints of the A16 in there, a few of the same conclusions. It's just Dr. Asher, whoever took very different paths to get there.
So Sarah has even less in common with every other android on the inside.
Sorry, you didn't expect to hit a dead end here. Hearing quite a lot about it, though.
Hearing? There's nothing here to hear.
Well, I'm hearing a lot anyway. These barriers must be helping it all.
You've been very helpful.
So the barriers.
Can we still get the registration done?
Yeah, no problem. We got the software and forms all set up here. Occasionally we let a new business partner bring one home fresh from the oven, you know?
Oven? Gross.
You know, I'm just gonna assume I didn't hear that.
You can hear my thoughts?
Barriers are all powerful now.
There's even a file on this hard drive called magic.txt.
Why would an android have a .txt model? Or a .txt file in it?
Who knows? These computers can't do that these days.
File became obsolete a long time ago.
Anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna need you to answer a few basic questions. Who's gonna be the official owner of this unit?
She is.
As it says. Unless the will disagrees, it's my responsibility.
From Sarah, because if he did, that would... Yeah, exactly. And it's also because this little cutie asked us to, and we're not disagreeing with her.
Right then. You fine with the designation, Sarah? We can set it to anything you like.
No, actually. Never mind. Sarah will do fine.
Okay, this part's all standard. civilian model, address, contact info I can get from your crumbs. You want to reset to factory defaults? Could clear up a lot of quirks.
She is so unamused.
Not right now.
It's okay with the barrier. It's okay with the barriers that we saw our father's death.
The last thing then is the grading. I'm reading 23 tenants here, nothing too far to the ordinary.
And 23, that's higher than I expected. Talking with it.
This is probably a roast, but I don't know enough to confirm that.
She seemed more malleable than that.
Don't blame yourself. Guessing tenant count from outward appearances has become real bad these days. Not like it used to be. It used to be that they only had 3 tenants total, and every unit had to have them. They came with the first accidents and the first lawsuits, then the hearings, the legislator. You probably know a lot about that. I know a lot about the hearings part.
And the demand for more tenants. A tenant making sure ads couldn't endanger the state. A tenant stating that ads wouldn't divulge private information without prior consent. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to weigh child and adult lives equally during risk assessment. There was a campaign calling for a tenant to do the opposite.
My goodness, laws and politics. Scary.
Companies wanted themselves covered. Customers wanted guarantees. There's never much incentive to deny requested tenants, so the list just ballooned. Until the military entered the market in full force. Ugh.
You sound like you don't approve.
I wouldn't go that far.
These are rules for programs. Gotcha. Gotcha.
They needed their ads to be able to pull the trigger when ordered to, without clearing 5,000 lines of bloated, hard-coded decision points to get there. I get that. But since the armies are the only ones using tech with bare minimum tenants, all the best, the least cluttered, most elegant code is only used for war games. It's not very romantic.
Are you trying to date me?
Absolutely not.
Man, you got barriers. Yay!
I can hear everything with these barriers. That's no reason to be happy. It's practically mind reading when you can hear as much as I can. Well, not like I was on the jury.
Department of Advanced Defense Projects versus Zenith Dynamics. Supreme Court sided with the military's request and set a new precedent that every other army around the world would race to meet.
Always easily influenced for a good, huh? Yep. That's what that word means.
Changing tenants from a mandated list at the root of every ad source code to a choose-your-own checklist.
It's funny. That's what the most tenants. They're so locked up you can't even have a conversation with them. And outside the armed forces, the only ads with single-digit tenant counts are just vacuuming floors. Most impressive ones, like what you got here, fall somewhere in the middle. Sorry, went on a tangent there. Only thing left is the evaluation.
What gets evaluated?
The total financial worth for insurance purposes. Yeah, the insurance companies made sure we had very accurate algorithms for this. Ugh. Department hated having to make those. Said it wasn't worth their time or something. No room for human error, they insisted, with no sense of irony. Oh, wait. Whoa. I mean, I knew it was custom, but whoa.
What price could they have possibly...
I get the barriers back.
That's a lot of digits.
You should know. These formulae are pretty conservative with their estimates. Goodness, I guess I didn't hear this. Stingy, even.
Sarah's really David's last and greatest work. They say some things are priceless, but when you force an insurance algorithm, then pick a number.
Try not to get any scratch.
Wait, that's not you.
Don't scratch me, okay? It kind of hurts if you do that.
Yeah, I got it.
You guys on the price. We're gonna put a 1 here, and then a comma, and then a 0, 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 a 0. I've run out of room. Well, that's an issue. But that's the price. Anyway, we're gonna make a note of that. Actually, we do it like this money-wise, right? It's like a dollar bill. Might that relate to somewhere? I know I had a money mark before, but I don't know what it was like. So, I'll just put that back here, maybe. Anyway, why do we have the scary music?
You spoke differently back there.
Huh?
With Dawes, you spoke like he did, it seemed.
Like I copied his accent?
You seemed to mirror his effect, his tone.
It's called being friendly. What's your point?
It was just an observation.
You can choose to keep those to yourself, you know. No tenant required.
Yeah. Why are you so concerned about registering me in the first place, hadn't I?
For the same reason I wouldn't drive around in a car without a license plate. Any cop, or even just a well-placed camera, would have spotted your barcode and seen that it wasn't set up with any actual data.
And then they would have arrested me, and then they would have thrown me in the slammer.
No, they would have arrested me and put you in an evidence locker.
An android can't get arrested?
People get arrested. Property gets seized.
Oh, I don't like being property.
And then smashed. Great. You put us over the weight limit.
I did no such...
Morgan, counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors.
What?
Who's asking? Vice President of Android Futures, Helen Jung.
Curious.
Shouldn't have assumed I still had the opening move. Tell her I'll be right there. I'll redirect your elevator now.
Taking control of your elevator is very
Convenient?
forceful. As if Noble is trying to directly steer your investigation.
If Noble wanted to shut me down, they wouldn't bother to be subtle.
I suppose they could simply refuse to cooperate.
Or just let the elevator drop.
Scary, but I'll take it. I'll take it specifically as a circle. Just in case. Anyway, we're at the Noble Electronics Northeastern HQ, specifically the executive office of Jung. Another girl, great. Good luck, me. That's what you look like? Okay. Sure.
Alright. Speaking first is a sign of weakness, is it? And here I thought I can avoid wading into the swamp of corporate pretend power dynamics.
Speak first or let us do. You know, she invited me here. You know, it's only nice of her to, greet me at the door.
Silence is only awkward if you care. I can ignore social cues all day long.
My goodness, she's actually doing it. Yeah. Get a swig first. What is your voice like, you person who looks like a person?
I always like this time of day.
That's good enough.
Not too muggy for you? No. I never liked a clear blue sky. It always seemed cold to me. You're in luck. The sky gets more colorful every year as the air quality drops.
Slightly like Francisco von Karma. I can see a slight resemblance, but I don't think it's quite there. This one's kind of scary, and Francisco was kind of elegant,
Huh. Childish, isn't it? Marveling at the small sheen of rainbow dancing on the surface of a massive oil spill. Huh. Apologies for waxing poetic. It's been a very unusual 24 hours around here.
Maybe they have bear ears. Sure. Just solve that problem real quick.
Unusual.
Still, why did you throw bear ears on me? Because they're kind of cute.
Is that really necessary?
You know how much I'm worth? I don't.
I'm worth more than you ever will be.
Well, I just saw how much I'm worth, and it's actually...
That doesn't... It's a metaphor, you girl.
Okay.
Now take these barriers off me before I decide... before I decide to make the elevator drop.
Okay, I'll just take them away now.
And that's what happens.
Scary.
Dr. Jung, just Miss is fine. Miss Jung, I get the feeling you didn't bring me here to talk about the weather. No, I actually brought you up here to express my condolences. I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you, though I could say the same. I know you and David worked together for many years.
Yes, we did. But as much as I'd like to just drop everything and process, the company wheels don't stop spinning for anything or anyone. Was Dawes of any help?
She sent him. Trying to be helpful or just trying to control the narrative. He was great, but that must mean you know I'm here.
I don't want to make assumptions.
This person's blue hair. Who else had blue hair? Sumugi Trader. My goodness. You know who else had the ability to put on different costumes? Sumugi. Just like you can put on bear ears.
Get these things off me again.
Okay. No need, I'll be explicit. I'm here as an officer of the court, which means I'm bound by law to document any rock I turn over, and every person I speak to.
Yes, the lawyers made that all very clear.
Lawyers? You have an android.
It's not one of ours.
You can tell that quickly. Got all the faces memorized?
It's easy enough to remember the major archetypes we use, yes.
If you're nuts by your work, maybe. It's a recent acquisition, very recent in fact. One of David's latest requests, apparently.
David asked you to take it? Huh? I've been told that. Now you've been to David's estate already.
The police gave me full access to the scene.
And you know that he wasn't alone last night.
Yes, there was a single witness who met with him and called emergency services when he fainted.
I was that witness.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see it. I see it now. I see it again. Yep, I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up. I'm putting it down. You're putting it down, I'm picking it up. Yep, that's the thing. When orange eyes yeah, I'll know what orange means and you can do no harm. Those are like a burnt orange. You know what else is burnt? A house after arson. You know what arson does? Hurt you. I don't know. It's curious. Really? Obviously. There aren't many people David would bother meeting with in person, let alone welcoming into his home and offering them a drink. I also knew that Jung is his superior on paper. Oh, by the way, just to note, when is it? It's this one. Just to note, those relate. Thanks. Forgot about that one. I also knew that Jung was his superior on paper, though not in fame. And I knew that the witness had Executive Plan 3 insurance, so they had to be higher up than David. Well then, do your lawyers know we're having this conversation? Of course. They're pulling their hair out about it as we speak. Can't imagine why. The police cleared you. And you were well within your rights to ask for some privacy, given the high-profile nature of all that's happened. Yes. So why call me up here? Why cut through all the red tape your lawyers painstakingly hid you behind? Eventually, you, or some clever lawyer like you, could get the record open.
through legal means or otherwise. The company's enemies are legion, and they have a prying knife for every occasion. Still, that would have taken time. The time you could use to get ahead of what could be the biggest PR hurdle Noble's ever seen. Touché. And so perhaps the truth of the matter is that I simply don't want to hide. David was my colleague for several years. If I were in your shoes, I would have questions as well. You're doing this for my sake? No, my reasons are purely selfish. I'm only hoping I'm only hoping that talking to someone whose job isn't to defend me from all those consequences might prove therapeutic. If she wants to play confessional, that's fine by me. But is that really all that's going on here?
It never is. Why would you... I mean, she thinks it. She's a little dummy. But you don't. Most certainly.
Why don't you start from the beginning, then? You went to his home last night?
Yes, at around 7:30. The building's penumbra captured all that quite clearly.
He fell ill around 8 p.m., so you spent half an hour together. Why the late call in person?
Yes. We had an intense discussion yesterday afternoon. David never came in on Saturdays, and I didn't want to spend the weekend glaring at him through screens, so I visited, and he let me in, and we talked.
About?
The good old days, if you can believe it. Back when we were both new to the company, eager to make a name for ourselves.
How long ago was that?
7 or 8 years ago. I'm so glad that's not -1. 67.
Miss Jung?
I'm putting a number on it. Doesn't sound that long ago, but it feels... We spent a while like that, just talking. He was lively and sharp, and I never would have thought that a few minutes later, that he would be dead.
That he would commit suicide in front of me.
Now, girl, put on your bear ears. They're therapeutic for you, I know.
Thanks.
Huh?
A firm reply. What happened?
8:15. He said he wanted to toast. He got up to walk back to his workshop, and then he must have went down to his basement to get us a bottle. I checked some messages in the meantime. Enjoyed the view.
In other words, she stayed on camera.
Checked some messages in the meantime, huh? Not relevant. I can't remember quite thoroughly, but there might have been something about that at the crime scene. Not like, relevant to the case, but just a arrow back, He came back with a bottle of whiskey and 2 plastic cups. He drank and talked. When he got quieter, spoke less. I thought he was just getting drunk. I didn't get worried until he started to fall asleep.
You tried to wake him?
He wasn't responding. I tried to shake him awake, but he didn't seem... I left him and ran to the kitchen to use the security system.
Didn't think to use your phone?
No. I suppose I didn't, but it worked out. Number's emergency protocol summoned a VTOL straight to his helipad with 1 button press. When I returned to the parlor, he was limp. I moved him to the floor as delicately as I could. The barriers, paint has barriers wide on it. Or we're getting more arrows back. It's curious. It's curious. Delicately as I could. He had a heartbeat, but I just did what I could until they arrived.
You went with him to the hospital, I take it?
Yes, they insisted. They checked my vitals and ran a talk screen, which came back clean.
So did David's, for all the good it did him.
I wasn't paying close attention to what they were saying at that point, but I'm sure they ran through every step of the CCE SOP. That's what they're paid to do.
You seem certain that it was suicide.
Yes.
Why?
As I said, he got quieter as time passed, and he spoke less.
Last thing he said to me,
the last clear thing he said, was that he was happy ending it here. He said he was content. He downed his glass after that. He drank every last drop. Does that sound like David Asher to you? I'm sad for Sarah right now, having to listen to all this about her father's death. Ugh.
Curious, relentless perfectionist, David? No, I guess it doesn't.
Let's talk about literally anything else. Oh boy. Let's talk about the Animate 16. Ha 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 ha. We're just changing the topic. Isn't that right, little cutie?
The A16 only into production this year, correct?
Correct. Some pre-orders started last holiday and we began shipping in the first quarter.
I understand that you were instrumental in the success of Warm Androids.
I played my part supervising the launch, yes.
Weren't you the one who designed serotonin, the factor that enabled communication between synthetic and organic parts?
I'm surprised you've heard of that. I did lead that project, yes, but that was years ago. At the time, serotonin was a little more than a novelty, a dead end. It wasn't until David took the reins on the A16 that we found a use for it. Excuse me, just another line back, why don't we? We're getting so many lines back. And I'm still feeling like I'm missing something, you know. Because now we have that related to David, right? And the whole A16 thing. And I guess that could also relate to... Which one is it? When was the serotonin? Was it you? No, it wasn't you. It was probably close to you. Let me draw that line a little better. Yeah, we'll just go with that. It's weird how we're getting so many lines with the one girl. Or at least that I'm just picking up on it.
Took the reins.
He was lead programmer on limb coordination, facial expressions, exhaustion parameters, and he designed the synthetic nerves that made all of that possible.
David did all of that. And that's a lot more than just programming. Was he always so gifted in that many fields? Did he fill those roles on the A14 or 15?
No. He used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. Hold on, it's just... The thing that they just said prior. Is he always so used to that? Obviously not. Put that back there. He's had so many things in his lab. He made little Sarah there. And that relates to whether he was able to do all of that himself, you know? Make this little cutie. It takes a lot of work to make a cutie, you know? Not something anyone can do. No, he used to stick steadfast to his role as a software architect. That was his field of expertise, and he didn't wander far. But 2 or 3 years back, he started sitting on other departments, taking notes. Soon, he was joining the discussion, proposing new ideas. And eventually, they came to follow his lead. Just like that. And just like that.
So he just applied himself, and soon he was leading other departments.
And that's the kind of genius Dr. David Asher was.
Maybe they weren't paying him enough.
The company profited the most, of course. But the entire industry benefited from his vision and leadership.
His loss will be felt for years.
Okay. That's curious. Anyway, let's go back to, like, the murder. Come on, you can handle this, girl.
He said CC.
Here, you know, I'll just be nice to her. Take your little comfort bear ears, alright? Just for you, okay? Just for you.
Yeah, I don't even need the barriers, let alone want them. I can hear just fine. You said CCE, Standard Operating Procedure, a moment ago. What was that?
CCE stands for Counter Corporate Espionage, which is just industry doublespeak for corporate espionage. Only used in self-defense, you understand?
So Noble anticipates employees at your level getting poisoned.
And I guess they give us all kinds of CCE training. I hear the suspects of the murder. What are their motives? Honestly, don't really know yet. There's plenty of people, but I'm not. It's written well. It's not one of those where I can, like, make a little suspected list in the top right corner, you know? Do I even still have that? Huh. I did. But, yeah, it's not something you can do like that. So it makes it a little harder for me. But I can look at all these arrows. Love them. Go hard streets. They're the main ones. Sure. Victim, well, like, how'd the victim die? The victim was my daughter's father, right? So we knew him pretty good. As you can probably guess, he was a higher up at a company, right? Did a lot of stuff for the androids. Plenty of people, I'm sure, want him dead. What we get from that, I mean, who knows? Subtly, of course, usually disguised on the itineraries, leadership workshops, or psychiatric evaluations. They train you to expect to get murdered at these leadership workshops. Murder is fairly rare at our level. More likely, they'll want us too sick to work. Let us drain company resources on a hospital bed while our position sits vacant. That's smart. Like snipers purposely avoiding violent areas, just drain the enemy's medical resources. God. It sounds like this is 16 Micro Ikusaba lying somewhere in this school. Where could she be? That's terrible. Like snipers purposely avoiding vital areas in order to strain enemy's medical resources. Wow. Those barriers really do work wonders, don't they? I thought you didn't want to hear any of this, Sarah. The barriers are comforting. That's nothing compared to when they want to turn an asset. Feel ill for the rest of your life with an undiagnosable malady, or become our mole and we'll send you to the antidote every 2 weeks. That's a nasty piece of work. It's a nasty line of work, consulting. I'm sorry. Sorry, this guy's violent. Appropriate. Possible motives for death, or maybe someone on a job, something like that. We just hated him, acting entitled. It could be, yep. Plenty of things that could have done it, right? But we have an alibi because we were out murdering someone else, so couldn't have been us this time, I'm sure of that. And that's just what they called it. Can't exactly put corporate spy on your CV. So every consultant I've met at a cocktail party was actually... It depends. Did they say that they're consultants? Or did they say that they were in consulting? How am I supposed to remember? So, do your people think that what happened to David was a deliberate attack? Noble's competitors have been trying to get David for years. Sarah pro-attack switch! I kind of do too, but I don't think that would ever happen. It would be very heartbreaking for me, I think. And that's the timescale their plans operate on. If this was an attack from a rival corporation, the company would have seen it coming, and they'd probably have struck first. Curious, but okay. No one is like blackmailed someone to having power. I don't know why you would blackmail anyone. Heartbreaking, you say? Heartbreak. My goodness. Hey, let's talk about some red Solo cups. I like them, don't you? I've been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Oh, by the way, I entirely forgot an arrow. Whoopsie doopsie. I forget which one it is. Probably this one. We'll just go with it. Back to the red Solo cups. Been curious about this ever since I saw the scene. Why the plastic cups? There's a story there. And David and I got hired around the same time under similar circumstances. Headhunted while finishing our higher education. During recruiting, the company claimed to want us badly, but in practice, our actual authority was inexperienced and overpaid. You must have been extremely unpopular. You don't mince words. We didn't either back then. We were loudly trying to convince our superiors that their entire sales model for androids was antiquated and self-defeating. The two of them made the one-point doctrine. That's not the story I've heard in Noble commercials and Noble-sponsored media. Woman said it could have been a business competitor trying to get rid of the competition. But also, as she said, they would have struck back first, you know? And come to think of it, it's not a story I've ever heard from David himself. curious to know, but I don't feel like making a circle of that.
We had this deadline, self-imposed, but still a deadline. We wanted to get our pitch to the president of international sales by end of day. 7 p.m. rolls around and people start filtering out. David still has his head buried in diagrams and sales figures. Imagine a technical man like him, a programmer trying to make a sales pitch. The clock hits 9, and Ev and the zombies start heading home. I turn to David, tell him that it's not gonna happen. We're nowhere near finishing the gaze long since been over. He looked at me like I'm the only other person on a sinking boat, and I've just stopped pitching water, and he says, "The president lives on the other side of the globe. He's still got all night until his end of day."
Bare ears. Forgot about those. We have no one on the suspect list currently. Exactly. It could be who knows who. Not our job, I tell ya.
We wrapped up at 4 in the morning. Just us and the cleaning staff. Back then, only half of them were ads. He finally sends the message, and I'm ready to collapse. I've got nothing. We stared blankly at his inbox for roughly 40 minutes, hoping that the harsh light would give us the energy to work through the next day. And we got a response. It wasn't long, but it showed he was interested. I had been turned down so many times before, ignored and placated, passed up and ghosted, but together, David and we'd finally gotten a win. So David asked if I've got anything to drink. Got a bottle of some swill in a cabinet in my desk, but he doesn't want to drink from the bottle, so he wants to toast.
Oh, my goodness, we finally get to see David.
So we sat there at 5:19 in the morning, toasting awful vodka to one another in cups we grabbed from the break room. Toasting our first victory against the corporate beast.
A curious thing this one is. Ta-da! Don't worry, it's important.
Oh. Between the lack of sleep and the drinking, the next day at work was as horrible as you'd expect. Sounds like a good memory. Plastic cups and liquor, that was our little ritual. So I didn't think twice when he presented me with my cup. It was ceremony for us.
Cool! So, you been working long?
As VP of Android Future, you're David's superior, aren't you?
That's correct.
And didn't you join the company around the same time?
Being redundant on that, but okay. Fine by me. Fine by me. Important note, maybe. Well, important note for what we just saw, I think. That's what that means. So I think the arrow would just kind of go up and then straight back down, you know? No point in writing that.
David was always more interested in his work than he was climbing in the ladder. He didn't like playing the corporate politics game.
I wouldn't either, quite frankly.
So he was unpopular around here?
Not unpopular, no.
Not the great David Asher. Misunderstood, perhaps.
Oh, sweet, I have 50 chips! Let's go! I'm so gambling.
How so? He could be blunt, demanding, some might say. He wasn't trying to be, it's just not everyone could work at the same pace as he did.
For as long as he did. I don't know why I'm so yawning today.
Even with the whole company huffing those inhalers, they couldn't keep pace with David.
He had this great thing that we call coffee.
Speaking of which, didn't see any at Jung's desk. Maybe it's just not something you leave out in the open at her level. So, you would say that his work-life balance was... A balance implies the two are at odds with another. We use work-life harmony here at the company. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna keep that up. Fascinating, so he was in harmony.
No.
David always had plenty of suitors, but he was never willing to put the time in. But I'm sure you're more knowledgeable than I am on the subject.
Right.
What do you mean?
I had to help him draft a lot of apology notes over the years, misunderstandings and double bookings.
It's scandalous.
Sure. Anyway, let's talk about my new daughter. How do you think about her? Pretty, right? Really cute, right? Like the best thing you'd ever seen, right? So this android, Sarah. Could one of those suitors have not taken no for an answer? I doubt it. Wouldn't have gotten far, and, well, wouldn't have been any different than... They're probably less radical than any of the other hundreds of people picketing out on the street right now. Especially when he likely only has one person in mind. And that's his little daughter. No. No, you're like a woman scorned. Could have been a woman. Just a different one.
So this android, Sarah.
Oh, that's me.
Even Dawes couldn't find any real details on where it came from.
It's not in any of our systems.
Afraid not. Did David ever talk to you or anyone else at the company on a pet project?
Pet? No, he never gave me any indication like that.
Yeah, you're a pet, little Sarah. Isn't that obvious? Especially from the bear ears.
And if he didn't talk to me about it, I seriously doubt he confided anyone else at the company. David didn't trust anyone higher on the chain than himself and anyone below him. Frankly, they couldn't possibly hope to give advice. He never mentioned me? No, never.
Oh, androids don't come cheap. You never heard about him requisitioning parts or resources? There were never any discrepancies with his company credit card.
The company's accountants are mirthless, even by industry standards. They wouldn't humor anyone, not even David Asher. If they had ever detected financial discrepancies, there would have been an uproar loud enough you could hear it in the mailroom. You have a mailroom?
You know, it's good for a little daughter to have a hobby, a little interest. I'm glad.
Not since the 30s. Just a figure of speech. I really like mail. It's nice and it's fun to read, and I'm a girl, so, you know, mails are cool too.
He couldn't have taken resources from the company without leaving a record. But no one would deny Dr. David Asher information.
He would have been able to obtain all the necessary data to build his own android. Then, with enough time and money, he could privately purchase the raw materials himself.
Can't look at the red hair. Foreshadowing mixed a lot in this game. Yeah, I know. I got it. Why he's murdered? Look, I like mailroom. If we need to write it down as a note, it's a no. We could figure that out later, you know?
I don't understand it. Must have taken me years to build Sarah. He wasn't doing anything illegal, except the hacking stuff. So I keep it secret. I don't know. But he was private and a perfectionist. Perhaps he simply wasn't proud of his results. Could be. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk with me. I'm sure this has been a difficult day for you.
A difficult day for all of us.
A message from Fran. I'm running out of leads to chase. The brat better have good news.
Are you really going to take this to court?
That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending the client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's accused of.
And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide?
Like that he bypassed the company, destroyed, and kept it hidden? Bypass is a strong word here.
I guess I haven't decided what I believe.
Great! Don't you just love that? But it doesn't matter. We do our job all the same. It's okay. It's not something I'd really want to write a note on, though. Do I want to circle it? Not with the steel chair! It's got it. It's scary. Do anything wrong, he's gonna hit me in the head with it.
Would you kindly slow down?
I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I walking too quickly for you?
That wasn't walking. That was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different.
I believe in whatever theory gets me paid. Exactly. As a defense attorney, she's got to be very careful about that.
Is speed walking? It sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Zinjayo?
What? That's not a word I've heard before. Because what if someone in the company found out? Maybe one of the higher-ups. He was... Nah. Ain't no way that's true. I don't believe. Well, like they just said, no way he told anybody about it, and it's not gonna be easy for it. I mean, maybe... It wouldn't make any sense, though. Especially to have him poison like how he did. That's... curious behavior, isn't it? Could be a company guy. Because they do need access to all the technical stuff, don't they? Technical know-how, too. I don't know. I don't really know.
Just... let me catch my breath for a minute.
Ananai, is it possible that you are out of shape?
Why are we doing it like this? They always do it like that, and I don't like it. Watch, they're gonna have a second one in a row. No, I'm surprised.
No.
But since we left the cab, your heart rate has...
I'm not wearing the right clothes.
You don't have any other clothes, Morgan. This weight is gonna be crucial for the case.
Can you not talk about my weight? I'm perfectly alright, I tell you. Wear the right shoes.
Is that so?
Yes. Also, I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith.
Yeah, it would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temp?
You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself mentally for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket. You didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here?
The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it.
Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fran hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or jazz club, the champagne, flute, and teacup kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town.
It should be in view if we turn... And night, be careful.
Of what?
It's a stray. It's bearing its fangs, too. Could be carrying diseases. You should...
Relax.
At night, it's growling.
It's not growling at me. See?
So it's just me that it doesn't like.
Too much static.
How'd you get it to calm down?
It's an animal, not a monster, and wants to be calm.
I don't like this. And if I don't like something, then we make a note of it. Obviously.
Do you like animals? Personally, I like bears.
What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals?
So you like bears too? Do you have a pet? Maybe a pet bear?
No, never have.
You should get a pet bear. Why haven't you gotten a pet bear?
Because I don't want to take care of a pet. And the bear's a little too big for me.
That seems counterintuitive to me.
That makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need it to make sense to you.
But...
You notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us? Just an observation.
Yeah.
You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety?
It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Today, I have rarely been addressed directly by people, other than you.
In other words, you're shy.
They're making shy a note of this?
That is not what I... Can I try petting it?
There's no law against it.
Sorry, curious line there. Why am I saying sorry? Not sorry at all. Curious line there. Just, the tenants, maybe? Just a little question mark there. A little curious about that one. No. Whenever they do something like that, put extra emphasis on it. It's a little scary. When he raises her hand, like, she's doing the face. She quite likes doing that. Quite the body language she has on her. Anyway, we're at Ultraviolets. What?
This is the establishment.
Why are we at a nightclub? I'm taking off the barriers, my goodness.
Now to see if Isaac Porter is as habitual as Fran claims.
Do you think Father was close to this man? This man who you've never met?
I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point.
Somebody's having first drink. Yay! She's reached the legal age of drinking. My girl's growing up so fast.
I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the past month. But Fran also saw a phone call between the two last night.
So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together?
My goodness, she's growing up too fast for my liking. Excuse me, can you not?
That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about.
Inappropriate? At night, it's only...
I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me.
Did you catch that killer yet?
No.
You know what? I sent you his position.
I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now.
Lame.
Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes?
Everyone's a corporate sellout, but Asher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect.
That's almost sweet.
Should this girl me, Ruma? So if I were to like draw that interaction, right, between the two of them, it would look something like that. So, you know, in case you need to make a note of that, you know?
That's almost sweet, I think.
Asher started working in the cube, so in the architect analogy, by today's standards, he's like, I don't know, like, as a kid, he built all his bricks by hand or something.
You know, that lit homework can help you with forming analogies.
Eat this analogy.
Oh my god, hold on. I'm gonna have to do it again. They look so cute together, yeah. And there's probably about 14 different tenets being broken, but hey, that's totally fine. Give me that sound effect. Come on, get back here. You can hear that? That's what it was.
Did that come through, or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger.
I take it Cube is a programming language. What's special about it?
Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you'll always be connected. And so you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on, and if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically.
But not Cube.
You can look it up. But basically, Cube was originally for robots and, like, machinery, and stuff that had to operate in mines under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service, so Cube had to be self-sufficient.
How rugged?
Where'd Asher learn Cube anyway? It's older than dirt, and from the 40s.
I don't know.
From like the 40s, haha, yeah, like 20 years in the future, why don't you?
I think his father had a machine shop or something.
Vague.
Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his father.
I think that's their guy. I think that's our guy right there. I think that's him.
And I never asked.
What did your private investigator have to say, Adnai?
Not telling.
We could talk to the guy, or we could do literally anything else. Let's go read this.
The kind of reading material gets left out in the club. A tabloid interview.
Let's see. Exclusive sit down with Luxury. Her name is literally Luxury. She's the most beautiful woman in the world. And people think it's an alter ego. That's a brand, and I can't change it without sending the stock market into his sin. 3,000 increase. I gotta hit up this Luxury person. My goodness, 3,000% increase. I'd be at like what, 12,000 subscribers? My goodness. It's pain at times. Yeah. Gestures clothes. Playing on anyone else might seem sloppy or unflattering, but a natural beauty, it stands out so much more. I'm dressed like this. All my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. It's bad for your skin, right? They say mine's flawless. How old are you? 18 to 29 now and forever. Great answer. Good answer. Good answer. Not sure I have to use an old language from the 40s. That someone maybe the killer. No. Is it a note? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Write it down. Why don't I? It'll be a square. Is it important right now? Who knows?
Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one mind for business. It might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe it really is one great face. In the meantime, she's
powerless, powerful. Well, I don't actually know what it wants from me here. What? She was pretty powerful, though. Yeah, okay, cool. Sure, we'll just go with that. It's like, am I overthinking this? No. No, it's about as simple as your school assignments. You know. Keep that in mind, friend. Come in Sunday, Catchy. Welcome in, welcome in.
Some rides are too meteoric for even the mags to grab the reins on. At this point, Luxury's got them at their mercy, so she can send their stocks into disarray with one selfie. Good for her.
Great, good to know. Haha. I don't like that. Oh well, let's take a look at the stage.
The stage for the talent, pretty close to the floor. I guess it fits the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark, once you get past the bouncer.
Do you think they might have met here?
And David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here.
Because you found the walk so challenging?
Sarah, just put on your bear ears and stay quiet. Because it's too loud to relax and not dark enough to be anonymous.
I see.
What's that face? You got an opinion to share?
The atmosphere is not bad in here, but the music isn't quite...
I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like?
Early 21st century punk rock.
How do you even know what that is?
Is that just you, or does that go for all androids?
I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them.
Wonder what they'd say.
If they're smart, they'd say that music peaked with early 21st century punk rock.
Debate settled.
See, you have to know about early 21st century punk rock. Absolutely phenomenal, I tell you. Who knows what's up exactly? Good choice. We're gonna make a note of early 21st century punk rock. Maybe it's important for later.
A bar stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste and the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can, like, eat things?
Yeah, I can.
What, like android food?
There is no such product.
So what does an android eat?
Online user guides for Noble Warren models clarify that they don't eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it is to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes.
It sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars. And charger separation anxiety.
According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long-term.
Processed pellets, you mean like kibble? Like dog food?
No, it's not like dog food at all.
Can you buy it from the pet store?
Seems that you can.
Well, girl, you're just gonna have to bear with that knowledge, huh? How is this something you have to look up anyway?
Because I've always just eaten whatever father gave me.
Like what?
Marbled beef, never hydroponic avocados, foie gras, that sort of thing.
I'm just gonna take those ears away from you now.
But they're cute on me.
I am not paying for any of that.
That's our guy. Okay. That's a fashion statement, I guess. You know, neck covered, nothing else covered.
Okay, yeah, that's him, alright. Looks like he's killing time before his set starts.
Are you unsure how to proceed, Dad and I?
I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'll...
Play it cool, play it straight. Dude, I don't know if you can play it cool with this guy. Look at his wrist. He's got spikes followed by a dog collar, followed by a glow band. And what is this, a caterpillar? I don't know if it could be worse. It could be. But my goodness. There's no way you're zipping this up. We'll just play it straight.
Isaac Porter.
What's your voice? You sound like a deep voice kind of guy.
What's up?
My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. Right now I'm his lawyer. Can we talk?
Depends. Were you a friend from work?
No.
Over here.
Okay. Thanks, Isaac.
Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with my tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend?
Interesting that you're that suspicious, but sure, yeah. The current outfit. We made a move through time and thinking. Could be. I think that's how everything, yeah. Everybody cool and absolutely eviscerates you for it. Yeah, I figured this wasn't some guy who could play cool. I mean, he's got bull horns in his ears. What do you think?
I'm his defense attorney.
I think you missed the bus on that then, yeah?
And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday.
Doesn't everyone? Try somewhere else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks.
You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him over the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died.
How the...
Isaac, it's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary. So I don't mean to cut to the chase. No lies, no playing coy.
Fine.
Sarah.
Yes, Dad and I?
What? Is that thing transmitting?
I'm not streaming any data, no.
Porter doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court.
Fine.
You two were together, is that correct?
We were together. I ended it yesterday.
Just, that line kinda... We can relate that back there. There's another line that goes to, but that's for a point that I'm not making. You can fill those dots in yourself.
Care to elaborate?
On our entire relationship.
Look, you can tell me everything once, and I can get it on record. Or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs for the next 3 months.
Let's see. Somebody just buys from Libra with a 16 student Mukuro Kasama. I will definitely keep that in mind, Thank you. You know, good night, Teddy. Have a good sleep. Would you end that conversation with dead body? I'm sure he doesn't know that it did. I'm sure.
We met in a bar. I had seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth, but not looking with his eyes.
Oh, by the way, I can just... There's actually another line this goes to, I don't know, like over here somewhere. About the suitors. Oh, you migrated. Hi. Hi, migrated. Welcome in.
It ticked me off, scribbling on napkins and letting his single gin and tonic sweat onto the table for 2 hours. His dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it 10 minutes. And he'd still sit there for the rest of the night unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. And he ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been canceled and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he insisted on coming here. Night after night, just to ignore vapid people he wasn't interested in and a bad bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, because I like your music.
Well, good to be honest. Confident man, apparently.
Man, did that tick me off. It was cute early on, him being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know? It felt like we were being mature or whatever.
Until...
There was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. At some point, I started to understand where his priorities were, and how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about his work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. Bring this up.
Hey, it's alright, Mr. Porter. Here,
What's this?
just wear it.
Okay, I guess. Is this supposed to make me feel better?
Yeah, it makes you feel better and it makes you hear better, too.
Well, I don't think I want to listen after what just happened, but I'll at least have him for a little bit. Might make me feel a little better after this. Not that I need it. Anyway, I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. I'm testing him. Like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset. He'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother.
Maybe I need the barriers back.
If you want him, you can have him.
You can keep them.
Alright then, lady. This whole thing was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights, not caring at all when people walked away, and still
Hi, Ink. Come back. Welcome in. No barriers? I could. It's one right there. Tilted lover. But they just broke up, you know? I don't know. How are ya? I'm doing fine, I tell ya. I'm doing A-okay. Drink real quick. His voice gets on my throat a little bit. It's all a little curious, though, you know? I don't know how all this fits in the grand scale. My goodness, there's so many lines. My goodness. Huh. David broke up with you last night, and he died last night. Coincidence?
Well, I heard a saying from a wise man. One time it's a coinky-dink, but twice it's not. As far as I'm aware, he only died once.
No, then it must be a coinky-dink. Drink some water and hydrate. Already done. I'm so cool. Ignore by build up anger and then bam, death. But that's what the phone call was about. I mean, it could be something, but it could also not be. You know, I don't know. It's still not my job. You know, my job's just to be a defense attorney. All I got to do is prove he didn't kill himself. Simple as that.
I still had the stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, that would be different.
Your Honor, this is clearly just a coinky-dink.
The court is so gonna rule in my favor. Who am I kidding? We'll look down, occasionally chat. Sounds good, yeah.
That I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it.
Last night?
I called him. Didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or ad or whatever. And he answered. First ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. So I let him know exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher.
And what did he say?
He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him.
Here's, you can have your barriers back.
I'm done using them.
Woof.
I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in warm disdain for him and his coldness. And had he made that easy for me. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself not 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life with so much as I don't. Come on, man. What's going on, David?
Have to like fashion these barriers. Hold on. Yeah. There we go. Off to the side just a tad. It's cute.
And now you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards, parasites who want to hear about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much.
It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide.
You serious?
You don't have all the facts.
And you do. Any one of them point to anything else?
Well, there's a lot that points elsewhere. What do I have, though, huh?
I thought so.
Thanks for your time. I'll let you get back to it.
And that's it? No summons?
The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that.
The court, huh?
Oh, sweet. We can go back to normal barriers. Yeah. Work in progress. He's fine about it. It's alright.
Sorry to bother your work. Sarah, let's go.
Your discography is very impressive.
Yeah. Thanks.
And your range is remarkable. So it pained me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy.
Curious. Curious. I don't know, go here. Whip! I feel like it. Should I go at? It might be useful later, who knows?
I think
Well, what would you know about any of that stuff?
I...
What's the matter? Can't find the words. Need to steal him from someplace first, butcher him before spitting him back out.
I was not trained on any data such that...
Nah, pardon me, my mistake, really. Not your fault, you're only standing here because rich nerds are allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century.
Sarah, we're leaving.
Hmm?
Oh no.
What was that about?
He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model in early 21st century.
Not that. Why'd you talk to him?
Huh? I just thought I should say something to him.
Oh, Sarah, you're cute. I like you.
A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from the people they want it from. Coming from any place else, that's just Corn soup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging.
You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai?
Compared to you, I'm a savant. Come on, there's not much time left.
Is there still somewhere you want to investigate?
Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Twitter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point.
There's not a lot of time before the actual trial. Oh boy, it is close. Huh. Noble Employee Housing Building. Plantea. Going back here? Why are we going back here? Penthouse basement. We're back here, huh?
And you see, Sarah, this is where you were born.
I was born next to a luxury car on a pole.
That's what catches your eye here.
The basement. You sure you don't want another look at the crime scene?
I'm all out of time. You gotta approach this from the other angle.
The other angle?
You know, inductive versus deductive. Flip the chessboard and all that. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel?
I've seen mystery films.
Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher?
Poison.
10 points.
There's a point system?
Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream?
You must have ingested orally.
And how do we know that?
The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds.
And if he hadn't held it?
Inhaled it? Why?
Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them.
Reference number 7. Haven't seen that one. We always said to turn your thinking around. I can turn everything around, you know. I have the power. Still, hold on. Whee! Perfect. Instead of turn your frown upside down, it's turn everything upside down. Is this an enjoyable viewing experience? Wait, barriers, give them back. Ta-da! Turnabout heartbreak? Not turnabout, it's turn around. Yeah, get on there. Good enough. It's cute when it's lower. Australia still looks normal now. Oh, I'm glad.
I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice.
Practice by answering my question.
I suppose it's possible, but highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for it in the building, like an inhaler.
Right, an airborne poison is either shoved in your face or sprayed over a wide area. And no one around David has shown any sign of symptoms. So all we're left is oral intake.
Hi, Axel. Welcome in. Welcome in. It's interesting how we're getting a little recap here of all the things in the basement, right? Why are we getting the recap now and not, you know, right before the crime? Or the jury. Not the jury. What am I talking about? You know the thing. Right before the stuff and that thing. And the beat around. Uh-huh.
Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai?
Jung's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night. And the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home.
Except for his cup. The results were inconclusive.
Jung was drinking from the same bottle and the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude, then, that David's cup alone was poisoned.
That all seems logical. And consistent with the police's theory of suicide. So, why are we down here?
Minus 10 points.
She's back to 0. She's never gonna get an A at this rate.
Back to 0?
David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Jung told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support his story.
So we have to conclude then that he got them both from this bar.
It is interesting, you know, whoever would have killed him would know about the solo cups, you know? Why red solo cups, right? Why? It's interesting. They're just getting held back a grade. It's scary. Sarah saves come. We can do that quickly. It's fine. 56 chips. I'm so good.
Better. 5 points.
Yeah.
Did you also get the poison from the cabinet?
The police have been here since we left. According to their ARCS files, they did not find anything that matches that poison down here.
So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again.
Alright, sure. Don't mind if I do. Just go on ahead. The barriers. The barriers are ever transcendent. My goodness. I'll move that all back for you.
But if you turn something 360 degrees, you just...
Alright, well, let's test that theory, shall we?
Whee!
So much so that it doesn't even change.
If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself.
He wouldn't do that.
And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera?
From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. when he left the parlor to get liquor from the bar.
So, if we have David on camera for those 4 minutes, and he didn't poison himself in that time,
He would have a perfect alibi for the crime.
proving his innocence.
But Nai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras around here.
I think there are.
They did the thing again. Why do they always do the thing? Why did they did the thing? And none of them have connected to anything so far. But that was the case last time too. That was the case last time. That was the it'll be fine. Be fine. Sorry, it's like when you're given a paper bag that has a thing inside that you don't know what to do with. And it's like, okay, well, what am I supposed to know about this? Like what? It looks like a model gun inside this bag? And it's like, I have to ask the guy later? But I don't have enough guts, so like, what am I supposed to do with it? It's like that, you know? Like that.
The only footage we have of David is of him wearing bear ears. That's why I love the bear ears so much.
Oh, to remember David, huh? And that doesn't make you sad or anything?
No. Bear ears are great.
Wow. You act just like a kindergartner.
What do you mean?
This whole building is coated head to toe in penumbra security cameras courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android, and every floor. It's all plugged into penumbra. Except that...
That panel is...
manufactured by Cotter Security Systems.
Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? Wait, that's not... Nah.
That's what you're thinking, right?
No, I've never given it much thought.
Well, it's been bothering me all day. But my curiosity alone can't spell a 64-digit wall.
You mean?
Signal hijacking or whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before?
Sorry, we have lines here. Here, right? And that, we get an arrow over here. This is our first arrow going forward, my goodness. And that arrow goes back to one of these. Right? And that will then, in return, go back to here. It's a whole loop, my goodness.
It is illegal and unnecessary. Father would not... He would not have installed hidden cameras in his own home.
At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything.
This is quite the graph. Anyone looking at this can entirely understand everything that's going on. Everyone will know what this means. Everyone will know this is Monokuma. Everyone will know this means money. You know. So, just seeing this graph should tell you everything you need to know. Especially since it'll come in and hit you on the back of the head with a steel chair otherwise.
Well, actually I probably can now that you're registered to me.
Yeah.
But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence?
Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command.
Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it.
Yeah.
Did you really need me to say that?
Entirely screwball. Exactly, huh? He had some red something. Sorry. We'll add another one in a bit. Don't worry about it.
For the purposes of replicated, yes.
If you...
I've gotten past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's walls and ceilings. As you theorize, they are on a separate network from the rest of the building.
Where are they feeding to, not the penumbra system?
Behind my hibernation unit.
A false wall in the back of a safe.
I don't understand. Why would Father have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home?
Beats me. He was brilliant. And more than a little odd. Throw in a little money and odd becomes eccentric.
I see. I think. Wait, no. I hear.
I don't. What is he thinking? What was he afraid of? What is there to even hear? Why didn't he come to me for... Time short. Gather the facts now and leave the computation for later.
I think.
Checking out me inspiration. No.
I guess I kind of have
to look around again. Curious, isn't it? How are you we're gonna get a lot of lines once we figure out what those cameras show. We're gonna get so many, I'm sure.
So is that the original?
I was appraised and confirmed to be genuine.
At least he didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see?
I see a meeting. Or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces at nature. Some kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think.
Yakinotomy inspiration.
Great. I'm officially less cultured than the robot.
Anyway, let's look at the floor.
What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation?
I don't know. I never noticed that crack before.
Might want to get those eyes checked.
There is nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have been created during most of my recent hibernation.
How? Did David drop a weight? A bunch of times over and over again in the same spot?
I would. Speaking of weights.
What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry?
What makes you so sure that he wasn't exercising?
Did you ever see him use any of it?
No. He must have used the weights when I wasn't looking. Since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health.
Sarah, these weights are all maxed out.
It's unlocked. Exactly.
David couldn't put his numbers like this even if he was piloting a frame.
Don't be so sure, Adonai.
Pardon?
The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the event and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 a.m. local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the Global Dank Bank on Fredericksburg Lane. He explains to the bank teller that he's a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gem bag filled with unmarked bills. The security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller only had this to say: "That man was all muscle." The result of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as police arrive on the scene, when suddenly his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush toward the door, grabbing each of the hostages as they flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead of is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man, barely 170 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money. No recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following with the diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality. It's so great was the disparity between his two halves that when he switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father could do, just because of how he looks on the outside.
Sarah, every word you just said was false.
Huh?
Don't believe everything you read on the net.
Aw.
Bravo! Great story, I tell you. I am citing that as a source, I tell you. Let's take a look at the offerings of wines. By the way, I am writing this down as a plot point. You can't stop me from dissociative identity disorder. It is unbelievable. That scene goes for so long. It's so good. I would have been fine if it went for twice as long. I would have loved that.
The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find any foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything?
Well, if you're offering, I'll have.
Sorry, you're way too underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever?
I can't hear you. Technically.
Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up. Maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder.
This is a rolling ladder. A kind of step ladder, not a ladder.
What?
Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out.
So are you saying this ladder isn't related by blood? And
It's important to know the distinction.
I'd bet my life savings that this subject will never come up again, ever.
Sorry, just hold on. It's a ladder. Kind of looks like a rope ladder, but, you know, it's an important distinction.
Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh?
Essentially, a bunk bed would imply a second or third.
It's a little intriguing. Just a little bit.
How do we open it?
One moment. I see.
Got it open already?
I cannot open this door.
Why?
It is a Testis basic structure whatever thingy.
That anti-hack feature in the name is real.
It's a closed system, Adonai.
And what am I supposed to do now?
Strange. There was an if-then toggle embedded in the security parameters.
I don't follow.
When Father last adjusted the settings here, he noticed the door would never open so long as I was hibernating.
And he made it so that I was the only one who can open or wake her up. Meaning this is a door that only I could open.
It'll be a 6-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any influential moments in your life that revolved around a 6-letter word?
Nothing comes to mind. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn?
Nope. I can't even spell nope right. It didn't work!
No dice.
Could it be your birthday or his?
If David set the password to something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him.
As you say, Adonai.
No, he would have picked a code whose significance was only obvious after the fact.
Try Himiko. Okay.
That didn't work either.
Let me just, where's the thing I need? Was it you? Where was that painting again? Yeah, this one. 11/25/58. Okay.
That didn't work either.
Perhaps a deep breath would help you refocus, Adonai.
Wait, what's the number again? Look at me forgetting the number. 11/25/58. 11/25/58. Adonai. Could be.
It's not like I'm taking a multiple choice test, Sarah. Either know the answer or I don't.
I see. So do you know the answer, Adonai?
I'm getting there.
It could be Adonai, but I want to try 11/25/58 first. That's 7. No. 11/3/37. You know, if we turn that upside down, it might be different. One of those things are not crazy honest. But you feel it dope for not getting it sooner. It could still be Adonai. Try that next.
Don't get discouraged, Adonai.
I don't know if it's just me now because somebody said it. But we are seeing Adonai a little more with that. Try Morgan. I don't think so.
I feel it on the tip of my tongue.
Really, Adonai?
Or the back of my mind.
Don't give up, Adonai.
Goodness, yeah. Hi, Al. Welcome in.
Wrecking my ears.
Echoing in my ears.
What? Now you claim up?
I thought some quiet might help is all.
Okay. Adonai. There you go. Yeah. No, they make it more and more obvious the more you go. You were right. Good thinking. It's about the first 2 episodes of this game today. Ooh! Good. I'm glad you can play them now. You probably don't want to get spoiled, though, do you? Look very good. It is very good. It's great. And tell you more. You would have flavor text. That is curious. That might be interesting to see later, but right now, what's behind that door? How many lines do I have to draw?
It's opening. What was the password, Adonai?
You'd never guess.
It'd be funny if we said master before.
Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing this much cloak and dagger tech. And I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room.
Scary.
A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows.
I guess that's right. You were right.
They're typically not even on the blueprints.
So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives,
someone slipped this into the mix and it's remained a Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all this. Don't want to miss my one chance because of the discovery technicality.
I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visuals, sounds, sensations. I can even give a detailed report on air particulations.
You mean you can smell?
Better than any human, and some canines, because I'm a bear.
If that's what you believe. Does that smell stale in here to you?
Stale?
It doesn't to me. Almost like someone's been in here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer.
You don't think the console is password protected?
And if it was?
2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, half-ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him.
It's scary. It's scary. Right in Shine Canine. Wait.
Good, it's already signed in. You're looking for camera footage? Wait.
You're looking for camera footage?
I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. What am I doing? Here, you search for video files. They'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices.
Why your eyes glow? They're cool. I like them.
I have the subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here has footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday around 4 p.m.
You were asleep then, so the only person who could get in here at that time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then.
Of course, it's just that I am having difficulty. Huh?
Try double-clicking.
Every time. There's a cool fact of lover. It's great. There's a lot of stuff about this that is great. Oh, so we're in the evening now. Great.
I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, Adonai, but they are encrypted.
Game just does the directory. Does it? Nah, don't answer. Does it really? I'll find a reason. I'll find a purpose. You have my word for it. I'll figure something out. And if I don't, then there aren't bear hairs atop my bearless head.
Come on, David. There'll be enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer.
Murder the victim at this point. My goodness. Huh?
What's the brand of the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into.
These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool.
Don't have any greatest regrets. I will find it! If it's not the last thing I do.
This appears to be Father's own work.
Ah, great. If David Asher handwrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could. Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special?
About 99% sure it's a Monogatari reference. See? Look, it could have significance. Wait, Monogatari? I watched Monogatari. I know Monogatari has significance on them, though I forget what. It is a Monogatari reference. Then I could work with that, huh?
Symbolism, I tell you.
I'll do that later.
And I,
Can you break this encryption, yes or no?
with enough time.
And how much time would that be?
I would estimate, 2 to 6 hours.
That's a 4-hour window.
No matter how sophisticated, encryption is still a code that must be deciphered. When deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process.
2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started.
I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago.
Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time.
I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes, so long as the work required is broken.
So you're doing it in the back of your head?
Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head.
You so deserve barriers for that one, my goodness. You're so cute.
I could give the encryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive.
Hey, that's a pretty neat feature. I'll have to keep that in mind.
No.
Alright. Can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall to find a battery?
I have copied the encrypted files and will work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready.
Still can't believe David let me get this far. And just to shut the door in my face at the last second.
By the way, there was this and her killing him and the morgue do link together. So, just a note. I didn't write that down in my notes, but it's a note. Make a great gauntlet knight. This little green queen. She just says whatever. No, she's so cute.
But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing in here. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, it's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork. Bonds and holding a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo at the front and in the middle. Enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking it in legalese, even on the table of contents, but basically, this is an employment contract.
My goodness, it's a binder.
Hold on to this for me.
It's evidence. Hold on. Gotta make a note of that.
It must be important if you're giving it to me.
It's certainly very heavy.
Is that all I'm good for? Was there anything else in there?
Expecting an updated copy as well to show up?
It is a possibility, isn't it?
Before that, he was so mild autism. John, no. His daughter is a great daughter, I tell you.
Maybe in a corny old murder mystery.
Widely beloved and respected genre of over 2 centuries.
There is something else. Your papers.
Oh, another thing. That one gets written down. Actually, you should not be that color. You should be this color. And a second thing. What does that relate to? I don't know yet. Woo!
Now, to Evangeline Morgan be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah.
and stated a few weeks back that he already made up his mind about all this. If he had, why'd he hide it where no one else could find it? Was it just a backup plan?
Curious, ain't it, huh? Here, you know what I'm gonna do? This. I know it links to something, but I can't figure it out yet, so I'm not. Actually, I can write that so much better. Who am I kidding? Whoop, bop. Perfect. I don't know what it means right now, so maybe it means something later, but I don't know right now.
Well, at least we got something a bit more concrete than Starling's word now.
Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it?
Not if people realize how precious you are.
Aw, I'm precious. Aw, how cute.
As a collector's item.
I'm going to kill you with the wrath of 1,000 suns.
Wait, could you imagine David bequeathing Sarah onto Morgan, knowing full well that would be pretty funny. I don't think she's keeping it a secret though. Look, if I can make it for the next 2 streams, maybe after those I'll be there. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by anyway, I'm Bruin Lover. Thank you. Have a good whatever it is you're doing.
I will murder you.
We've yet to meet one person who knows what you are. But Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this.
It's good that you do then. I'm glad that father wanted me to go with a friend of his.
Yeah.
Exactly, wearing heartbreak on her sleeve. Could I make that happen? Let's see. Do I have a heart? Do I have a broken heart? I have a file here that's called heart. Well, I can make that happen. Whoa, what about now?
Night, why is there a weird thing on your sleeve?
Oh. This is just a fashion statement.
Oh, you like fashion too? I like it with my bear ears. I think they're cute.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means.
It's an 8 that's unfinished and filled in. Yeah, that's totally what that is. It's not a broken heart or anything. My goodness.
This'll give me a huge tax write-off when I donate you to a for-profit college.
You can at least pick a charitable institution.
It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for-profit since the 60s.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse, priority.
There is an upcharge at this hour for priority transportation.
That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there.
The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7.
I'll prepare on the way over.
Very good, Adonai.
My goodness. You know, even with a thing with that we have in our possession with as many zeros as you can fit on a paint program, we still are money conscious. We're preparing good.
Does it excite you, going into courtrooms?
What do you mean?
You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising in your gut as the prosecution smirks at your ragtag assembly of witnesses?
Do you really think this is gonna be some kind of movie where the good guys save the day?
This jacket looks cool. But I just feel like it's swinging that, yeah. Luckily she's an android, so it's totally fine. Fashion!
I am very fashion conscious. Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were.
This is some great preparing we're doing, huh?
What's your deal anyway? Did David train you off of a movie marathon from hell or something?
We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking, though he was rarely the one who suggested it. Do you think, when you catch the culprit in the act, you'll start frothing them out and banging and breaking down?
Sarah, where do these frivolities come from?
There's very good reasons for dying. This green hair girl, the reason that someone wanted to steal her for some reason. If it would be the company itself. Because if he dies by this plan and as suicide, then she becomes company property. Not any one specific person. So, not a corporate exec or anything like that. Company property.
So you were the aggressor. What's an android get out of watching a flick anyway?
What do I get?
Why would you do it? What's your reason?
I'm not sure how to answer your question.
Never mind. Forget what I was talking to.
I need my bear ears for comfort, you meanie. Maybe you need some too.
Ugh, fine. I guess you are an aggressor, aren't you?
I like the performances.
Sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something?
He is a handsome man. But it's not the actors I like so much as their performance.
Sorry, I gotta make a note of this real quick. You can't state performance in a game about lying and, not have anyone to write that down. What's your secret, Sarah? We've been talking about your secret. Once we get to something like that, we're just gonna throw all our lines at it. Once the Persona 5 stream is gonna want to play through 5 and get through 3. Do you also put barriers on everyone there? I don't, but I can start. Speaking of, this chapter's been going longer than I thought it would. I'll have to get back to that one in a bit. Once we're done with this chapter, though. Have fun playing it? Of course. Of course, do have fun playing Personas 3 through 5, No one ever talks about Persona 1 or 2, though. It's weird.
Truth is, besides father, I have very little experience when it comes to people.
Yeah, that was obvious enough.
I read the net, and I watch people, and what they share of their lives.
I got 34 hours in Persona 3. Oh, you're about maybe halfway through. You skate with barriers. I see you have priorities.
But it's also subtle, so hard to follow. There are so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. You're all so complex, so detailed.
Why is this weird? What do you mean by it being weird?
When the characters on screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciate, their body language so precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are... It's fiction, so these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, middle, and end. And the people on screen don't ask anything if you accept your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. And you can just watch and learn. But what about you, Adonai?
What about me?
Do you like movies?
Yeah, sure. Back when I was a kid.
Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film?
It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, just to note, you don't put that sort of thing there without it being a plot point. Anyway, it's 6:05. Court should be starting soon. State building. Floor 48.
Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse. Though I felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers. All-encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and papers pushing queues, with a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think that my friend would be dead or he'd have thrust an android on my lap either. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain, loudly of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. I don't have my bear ears on. About to meet one of the best characters in this game. Oh no, I'm scared. Now that it's registered in my name, I should probably just order the thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that. And I guess I don't plan to. Why? Must be because I have my suspicions as well. Sarah insists that David will never commit suicide, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether I agree or not. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. Aren't the green hair girl's the reason for murder?
You could have a feeling about that, sure. Though I think it's going to be a little more complex than that.
So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside a courtroom, prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state, because I don't really believe David killed himself either. What's your progress bar at?
I can confirm that I am making progress.
Well, great, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But it would be difficult to summarize the progress in terms of a completion percent.
Give it your best shot anyway.
5%. Are you feeling confident in your case?
Not anymore. Markedly less so after hearing that.
Do you think the judge will be amenable to your argument?
What are you talking about?
Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are they particularly lenient or strict?
Adjutants are always a coin flip, so... You do know what an adjutant is, don't you? Are you expecting to see a bearded old man with a robe and gavel when you get in there? You would be not right about that.
Should I not?
Adjutants are android judges, okay? With all the authority that entails.
I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept ruling made by an automated dependent.
Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm.
So, androids are used to reduce caseload?
Been that way for decades.
But how was a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions, stalling?
And judges did fight for it for years, at every level, and in every theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board, and so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by the unrelenting force of our great nation's accountants.
And it's not controversial having machines determine sentencing for human beings?
Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines can't lose sleep over it.
Huh. But I sleep, don't I?
Besides, it used to be that even the most high profile of crimes couldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, most crimes are persecuted without a single business week.
And that's not rushing things?
Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure.
I'm just surprised to hear that there's so much haste.
They don't teach you about classical conditioning in android school?
I didn't go to school.
You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell.
I'm not a pet either.
If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick.
I see. But if adjutants are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics?
That's a logical question to ask.
I'm logical? And the answer is...
That logic only gets you so far when it comes to people.
Doesn't everyone want the courts to be just as possible? If adjutants are truly impossible and are impartial and incorruptible...
Everyone wants justice, sure. But there are other considerations to be had.
Such as...
Disgust.
And you know what that means. Write it down and I know every single time about this there. The thingy, the murder stuff, yeah. Does Sarah have one brain cell? She's got a couple brain chips. That answers your question.
What?
That's all people really care about. What all their morals boil down to. Just what they do if or don't find disgusting.
Yeah. I don't like cockroaches. I find them disgusting. What does that say about my morals?
It means absolutely nothing. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras and no one gets dirt under their fingernails, you'd be surprised about what you can get away with.
I don't understand.
Well, yeah. Therein lies the problem.
So silly, she's my child. I love her. She is cute, isn't she? A cute little baby girl. She ain't my daughter for nothing, I tell you. Oh boy. A silly cutie like her. I mean, I think that deserves some bear ears. Where? Game? Okay, I was wondering where you were. 624. Woo! Courtroom 48D. Hi, Emma. We're about to get this court started. Seems there are people in session, huh?
Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once I stepped into the courtroom.
I certainly don't like her. I don't think... Are we supposed to like her? Probably not. I don't like her, though. Uh-huh. So much so that I entirely removed her from my thumbnail.
Not with her.
That's the agent up there? Use it. Go to sleep.
It's loading.
That's the thing. Okay. That's scary. That is scary.
It needs to load?
Don't be rude. Not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those the state buys in bulk.
I'm not supposed to like Morgan either. Uh-huh. Good to note. I don't know, I kind of do, though. But maybe it's just because I like good writing, you know?
There's an audience.
You mean the gallery? That's nothing. It could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Asher's death would have spread like wildfire. Even a mock trial like this one. Detectives like Ray's or London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press. But uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends in the media. And then there's the corporate plants. I don't like plants. I don't like to water them either. Interns, usually. Preferable ones with modded eyes. It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2086. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general.
Well, hold on. When did it become illegal to film in a courtroom? It's curious, isn't it? I'm a big fan of her, but like her design. Fair enough, fair enough.
But I'm not such a coward that I skipped David's funeral just because there'd be a paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. Or at least this way. It's decent marketing for my legal services.
What will happen once the adjutant finishes loading? How will the trial proceed?
With all those films you watch, I'd figure that you could extrapolate.
I am asking so as to correct any misconceptions.
Well, not everything you saw on the silver screen is outdated. The court will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case.
That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct?
It does take place in authority. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you make a fair point, yeah. Speaking of, how long is this trial? I assume it's pretty long, but if we can get a number on that, that'd be great.
Mostly. Sometimes they'll testify virtually or from a separate location. It depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual in the case.
What do you do then? Sit there and watch?
Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecution are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response as long as I have discovery backing me.
Do they even get parrots to testify?
Where are you living? The 1800s?
You said that before. Discovery means...
Just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have a whole number line of evidence just to link everything back to everything else. Also that I acquired it legally. And most of the time, that means having recordings or witnesses that verify my investigation.
Which I can provide.
You didn't think I was letting you tag along just because I liked it, didn't you?
And the jury? I don't see where they would sit.
Jury hasn't sat in the actual courtroom for years now. They have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity.
And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look someone in the eye before passing judgment on them?
You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. Mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with.
Like this one anime I watched, the prosecutor guy presented an updated autopsy report with no contest.
Oh, goodness. You sweet summer Sarah, their court process is grossly oversimplified and entirely misrepresented.
Oh, is that just what the court process is like in Japanifornia?
I have never heard of that country in my entire life.
So, all you have to do today is convince the adjutant?
Easier said than done. Adjutants lean heavily toward evidence over arguments. And right now, all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. If it's gonna be an uphill battle, I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation. And it needs to be solid. I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David. Yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Maybe it doesn't play nice enough for me to do anything less.
I think it's waking up.
And of course it's a girl, because why wouldn't it be? You got like the thing. It reminds me of like the Squid Kids from Splatoon. Uh-huh. What voice should I give you that doesn't conflict with any of the 28 other girls in this series?
This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD-84 presiding. I call to order the case of the People versus Asher. Do the people wish to make the opening statement? No, Your Honor.
No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here.
Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement?
And not this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get this start.
If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. My model name is Adjutant. My unit designation code is AD-84. I am a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering why. What gives the machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined, or deified, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful. Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian Man, justice is beautiful. Wow, this is very justice-like, huh? I like this. So, what gives me the right? This gorgeous bod.
What is she doing? Did they get the wrong... Whatever.
Whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty or whatever.
Your Honor.
Wait, where's the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor. This is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Asher did, in fact, commit suicide as he...
She's described as making money. Wait, he's attorney's judge. Might be a little different than that, though. It's a little curious, huh?
I get it. You want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before you cut up his will like a T-bone. I didn't realize that adjutants were so lively.
They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjutant the court system could find.
Love that. She's, curious, ain't she?
Whatever paper pusher we rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for the kindness.
What's that look for? Could it be your and trying to size me up.
Why'd they even give this thing the ability to blush?
Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor.
Good, because if you have doubts about my ability to run this trial, I could always enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed.
That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character than I'm used to seeing up there, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's still just an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence wherever it leads.
We're getting character set up, which is... could be worse. This character, I mean.
So long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outbursts from the bench, my plan's still workable.
So, people, shall we get started with that first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people called Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand.
It's gonna be here the rest of the game. I'm gonna sign my death warrant now. Oh boy. We're getting started with the actual thing, huh? Scary. Just wondering how we are in time. How are we on time? 2:52, huh? I kind of want to... I want to keep going, but I do have sake of time, huh? I'm tired, so I'm gonna head to bed. That's alright. Ever since those, like, 4 to 6 hour Danganronpa trial streams, I've been scared about these, and you know, this is a trial, ain't it? Look, we can finish the next time, it'll be fine. Knowing this is probably gonna be a long time. Good night, Axel. Don't worry, I'll make it worth your while, I promise. But yes, with all those long screams, it does scare me when we have something like this. So, just for my concern over the time, I will end it here. We'll finish it off next time, yeah? I promise, okay? Thank you, thank you. Thank you for watching. Let me see. Can I do it tomorrow? I don't know. I might have some scheduling conflicts tomorrow. So we'll see if I'm able to do it. If not, the next day will be fine. So yeah. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. Please fill out the survey as you leave as to how good a job I did and what you would like to see different in the future. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.